Welcome back to His and Hers, a podcast about love, careers, friendships from a Gen Z perspective. My name is Sarah.
My name is Jeff. And this podcast is completely unfiltered, uncut. This is all one recording. We don't edit anything out. So these are our true thoughts, our true feelings on today's subject, which is
making friends in your 20s from both his and her perspectives, because I do feel like there's quite a big difference. We were just talking about this, but when was the last time you made a friend?
Yeah, so we were talking about this topic and how we were going to talk about making friends in your 20s. And as I was kind of preparing to talk about it, I was trying to think to myself, when was the last time I actually made like a really, really good friend? And we landed on probably like 3 years ago was the last time I made a really, really good friend who, like, I would just, like, I guess it depends how you define a friend. Mm-hmm. I've made like acquaintances since then, but really good friend, probably like 3 years.
Oh my God, that's really long. Last time I made a good friend is probably like every time I'm in a club bathroom. But realistically, a real friend that I text, last one would probably be Whitney, who we met through Instagram a year ago. Oh, a year and a half ago. And then we hung out quite a few, like 2 months ago, and now we're pretty close friends.
Whitney's a real one. Shout out to Whitney.
She is a real one. And then before that, I made like a lot of friends last summer. So, and I would consider them like good friends, not just acquaintances.
Why did you make just some? I think I know the answer, but just some background on why you think you made so many friends last summer.
So I actually moved to Chicago last summer, actually last March, and because it was an entirely new city for me, I moved here completely alone. I felt it was really important for me to diversify the people around me, and like we mentioned in another podcast, I'm a strong believer that the 5 people you surround yourself with, you're like the average of them. So I want to surround myself with good people, and I really put myself out there. I met my neighbor in the lobby. I just honestly approached him, and he was super nice. And then from there, I just made friends from TikTok, Instagram, Bumble BFF, walking around, and yeah. You're a very extroverted person. I'm an introvert.
Say, oh.
I'm an introvert. Okay, but you think I'm extroverted because I talk to people. But
no, I know it's not as simple as like you talk to people a lot, so you're an extrovert, and you don't talk to people a lot, you're an introvert. I definitely know it's not that simple. I'm probably just comparing you to me. Now you're very comfortable, and like maybe this is one of the reasons I haven't made many new high quality. I mean, I've met some great people, but I haven't made like a true high quality friend in a while. Maybe the reason is that like I'm not as outgoing as you, and like I generally keep to myself more.
Yeah, you're a very private person. You're a very private person, even though he's literally on a podcast right now.
Yeah, doing this podcast is putting myself out there more, I guess.
You are.
But yeah, I mean, I also think I'm just again trying to reflect on like myself and like my experience making friends. Maybe it's also that I'm just very content with the friends I have.
Yeah, I think you are. In terms of your friendship style, how would you describe your friendship style, like the types of friendships you have at the moment?
I think everybody has, or I hope, everybody has different friends that kind of serve a different purpose in their life.
Interesting. So are you saying they all serve a purpose for you?
Maybe serve a purpose was not, but no, I do think your friends serve a purpose. And I would probably serve a purpose for them too. Like I have friends who like if I want to go out and have like a crazy Saturday night, I'll call them up and be like, what's going on?
Wow. So you just use your friends? That's kind of messed up.
It's not really using. It's just the type of friends they are.
I'm just kidding. Okay, continue.
No, and like I have friends who like if I'm going through a tough time, like personally, it's in my like relationships with my family. I have I have one or two friends I can rely on for advice in that area. You know, if I'm watching the soccer game and I've got a friend I want to like talk to about the game, I have a couple of friends I could do that with. So it's just, I mean, you do definitely like put your friends in buckets sometimes. But I think everybody has, like you say, like a core group of like three to five who like they'd be my groomsmen, and I'd pick my best man from that group, and like they'd be your maids of honor,
bridesmaids,
your bridesmaids,
which I'm not going to do. Controversial topic as well,
to be discussed in a future podcast.
About 20 years, but yes.
Yeah, but I definitely think that everybody has, you know, friends who serve a certain function in their life, help you out in a certain way. Because at the end of the day, the reason you have friends and the reason like so many people see their friends as family is that it's just like a deeper bond and a deeper trust, and it's a level of, you know, like you know those people are there and you can rely on them to provide a certain thing.
Yeah. But what is interesting though, me and Jenna, who are best friends, as you know, like lifelong best friends, as well as like me and Allie, who's like one of my closest friends, we realized that a lot of people actually don't have their person. Even though you and I think it's very normal and natural in our average to always have that core 5 of people, or even like core 2, a lot of people don't actually even have like one person as their best friend. So how did you meet your very first best friend, and how did you make them your best friend?
The very first best friend. Now we're going back. My very first best friend is probably, and I'm going to keep to the habit of not using people's names in this podcast for the time being. Well,
I haven't.
just personal preference. We met in 3rd grade.
Let's give him a fake name. Chris?
I'll give you his initials are TK. He knows who he is if he's watching this.
TK.
We met in 3rd grade. We were in the same class in 3rd grade. Went to the same elementary school. We were both big basketball players, and we met just, you know, we'd gone to like some basketball camps together, you know, in our very early years, and we just
was this in Arizona?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This was in Phoenix, Arizona, where I grew up. We just started playing basketball together during recess. We were the 2 best players there.
Very, very humble.
Not that anyone cares anymore. 20 something years later.
Gosh, you're old.
But yeah, that's how we met. We realized we had. I think often with friendships, you meet because you have one thing in common, and then you realize you have so much more in common. So, like for example, my friend and I, what we had in common was basketball. But then we realized, we both also play soccer. And then he joined my soccer team that year. And we both also like golf. Let's go play golf.
So are you guys still friends?
Yeah, we're very good friends.
But is he still your best friend?
He's in my core group of 5 for sure.
Is he the one in Germany?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I figured it out. Interesting. That is quite far back. I am not friends with anyone from that age. I also don't measure my time with people to determine the strength of my friendship. So I could have met someone, let's say a year ago, and I could still consider them one of my closest friends.
Of course.
But my best friend ever that I met is Jenna, who we met in middle school. We were 14, and basically we just had common enemies, which I feel like is the strongest bond you can ever have.
I mean, especially in middle school.
Yeah, honestly.
Middle school is horrible.
I thought it was iconic, but, you know, to each their own. And to this day, me and Jonah still have a lot of common enemies. You know, that really just keeps our bond so strong. But we also realize we have a lot in common, our sense of humor. But I do think it required a lot of investment in time with her to actually build that strong relationship, because there were like long summers in between where me and her wouldn't talk for a few months and then we'd drift apart, but then it was important that immediately when she got back we would see each other. So it is hard to maintain friendships, in my opinion.
I think especially, and this is why this topic is like so interesting to talk about, is in your 20s especially, because people start moving away. You know, people start families. Like I've got a ton of friends who are engaged or married or like soon to be engaged, so they have like their own partners and families on the way. So I mean, as with everything, life can just get in the way. But I think your 20s, it's hard, as I have kind of shown. Like it's hard to make new friends in your 20s. but I think part of the beauty of that is that maybe you're not making like high quality new friends, but I think your true really good friends like reveal themselves at this time. Because
very true.
Because the people who are my best friends, like my one who lives here in Chicago, who like we both know, my friend who lives in Boston who we both know and we've talked about. Those are people I've been friends with for 10 plus years. Yeah. And through us moving to different cities, different countries, going to different universities, falling out of touch, falling back into touch, the fact that I'm still talking to those people 10 years down the line, like, shows me that they are OGs. They're real friends.
You were saying?
No, and I was going to conclude by saying, like, that to me is more satisfying than making new friends at this age.
Interesting. I disagree. But I was going to say, making friends in your 20s versus when I was 14 is very different. It's kind of like, if I had to compare it to an analogy, it's like when you have a favorite song from a different time, and it's still your favorite song, but let's say you hear a new song last year, it could still also be one of your favorite songs.
Of course.
But it's like when you think back and listen to those songs, they bring back very different memories. And so I find that really fun, and a great part of meeting my other really close friend, Allie, who was on the previous episode, is when I talk to her, she knows the me that came out of college, the after college me, but Jenna knows the me in middle school when I had to navigate myself, and Allie knows the me of trying to navigate my 20s and my career. So they both know very different sides of me, and I think, like you mentioned, they serve different purposes at times. Whether that's like more emotional or career focused or relationship focused, I go to different friends for different things. But I also think that's why it's important to continue making friends in your life, because had I not met Allie and not been so close with her, I wouldn't probably be in the career that I am in right now, because she was the reason that I really took a dive into tech sales. And had I not met her, I wouldn't be where I am. And I would also say, like, in your 20s, you're very impressionable. So that's why it's even more important to surround yourself with impactful people that you feel like can positively impact your life. Because even if you don't think about it, they do have a circle of influence on you. And you have to be very intentional. So that's why I do think it's still very important to make friends in your 20s. And make close friends in your 20s. Because these are people that you'll all probably know your whole life.
Yeah.
And
you're right.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of like older people, like people in their 50s, are like, oh, my college friend. So if you think right now, like, if it's too late for you to make close friends, it's really not. Because people always say, like, oh, we met at work at my first job, where we are right now.
Yeah, and it's a good point. And I think, like, for example, you have made through work, you've made some good friends.
Yeah.
No, maybe not like your best friends in the world, but really good friends. My situation, I graduated college in May of 2020, which, for people kind of tracking the timeline, was right in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. So I've actually never gone into an office for work. I've been a working professional for 3 years. I've never gone to an office.
That's crazy.
So that, and like not being able to form those relationships and those bonds, I think has set me back a lot in terms of making friends, because you do make friends. I guess that's not true. I had a part-time job where I go into the office, but in my full-time jobs that I've had since I graduated, I've never gone to an office. And I think, you know, you miss out on a lot, and not having that, because you spend half your waking hours at work. So that's 50% of your life where, you know, if you're going to make friends, it's pretty likely it's going to come from that source.
Yeah.
So I mean, not having that's probably been a hindrance to me.
I would also say, this is something I noticed from like just a hetero, very, very straight perspective. The way straight men make relationships and friendships versus straight women who make friendships is very, very different because of the way we typically interact. Also, these are very broad stereotypes. I would not like look too deep into this, but I will say, I noticed that for men, it's pretty hard to make friendships because you're brought together by occasions. You're brought together by Super Bowl day or like a football day. So there has to be an event. So if there's not an event, there's no reason to really meet, from what I'm seeing. For women, we like to, it's almost like the opposite. We like to create the event together, and then we actually go to the event together and have a good time together. So that overall provides us more time to actually create that bond because we're planning the event, such as like, let's do a picnic this weekend. So we actually talk about who's actually bring what. Whereas Super Bowl is like, okay, everyone come to mine on Sunday, Super Bowl, Sunday, where Rihanna performed. And yeah, and that's pretty much as far as like planning goes, maybe, stereotypically. So I think that's maybe one reason why men and women have a different way of making friendships. What are some other ways or differences you've seen between me and the way I interact with people and the way you've seen like maybe your friends and yourself interacting with people to make friends?
I definitely think, well, I guess specifically to like you're an organizer, and you're a gatherer of people is what I love. One of the many things I love about you. But I think that's something that, again, maybe this is like painting women with a broad brush, but I think a lot of women are like that, and that they like to organize. They're inclusive and they bring people together. They like you said, I really identify with you saying they like to make the event as opposed to guys kind of like
have an event,
have an event. Like the last time I hung out with a group of my guy friends, for example, was for the Champions League final, which obviously it's an event.
Yes.
And we're like, I was like, okay, like there's this big soccer game going on. Let's all meet at the bar and watch it.
Yeah.
Whereas you would be more like,
what's everyone doing this
I
weekend?
I have nothing going on Saturday. Should we all go get brunch?
Yeah.
So I definitely think that I don't like personally, and I think a lot of guys are like this. We don't like seek out, like, I think, and maybe it's a pride thing too with guys, is that we're maybe too like proud to be the one who wants to like, you know,
make the
like
first move.
like try to like be proactive and make the first move in terms of like having social plans, especially when you're trying to bring a big group of people together. Whereas maybe that like pride element doesn't exist with women as much.
I think in your 20s, you just have to realize that everyone is almost in the same boat as you, and especially for men, like that's also another reason I think statistically like men suffer a lot more from loneliness, and maybe it's because you're not willing to ask for help or not willing to put yourself out there to make friends, and that could be tied into that, the fact that you think no one else is experiencing it, but a lot of people are trying to make friends in your 20s. There's a lot of people on Bumble BFF, even in the office, there's always people trying to get dinners and lunches after work. But you also have to have a very open energy. I feel like this is not something that you can really like try to have. This is not something that I can really explain or like put a finger on, but a lot of people view us to have very open energy. So a lot of times like people will approach us to take their pictures, or like someone behind us will be like, oh, you guys are so cute together. And it's, I think, the way we hold ourselves, where we don't ever want people to feel excluded, and so people feel very comfortable approaching us. If you've noticed.
I have noticed. I think that has more to do with you than me, but that's besides the point. No, I think you're right in that. I just think there is that pride factor with guys sometimes, and it's kind of hard to shake that. And I think, just going, like I've really tried. I'm like, one of the goals I had for myself in 2023 was actually to be a better friend. And because like last year, I think I really was focusing on my career, and I had a lot going on from that perspective. So I didn't make the time I wanted for life outside of work and relationships and friendships. Even with my family, my relationship with my sisters. You know, that's all stuff I've tried to work on this year. So. So like me last year, for example, would not even have tried to put together the soccer watch party thing at the bar.
Oh, interesting.
So doing that was like a pretty big step for me, and like trying to gather all those people. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just something that I'm working on. I guess in terms of like how do we, I guess both of us, we can both try to answer this. How do we continue to meet new people? You know, like most of the new people I've met, if not all of the new people I've met recently, have been through you, and I love them all, and they're all amazing people.
Yes.
But you know, I need to do this on my own too.
Yes.
To a point,
Yeah.
right? And I need to have new people to introduce you to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's no real excuse, you know, to not do that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, there's like I love playing soccer, so I should join a rec soccer league.
Yeah, you should.
You know, I need to get back to the gym, start going to the gym, meet people there.
Interesting. I would never do that. That's probably the one place I don't talk to anyone. The gym. But maybe men do. Straight men.
Yeah, I mean, I think to a point.
Yeah.
Nice, a nice biceps bra.
Oh, I feel like guys make friends like in there because you ask each other to spot each other.
Very important. I don't usually need a spotter, but it's okay.
You're so humble. You're so strong.
Hardly.
Like, yeah, man. So what are some pieces of advice that we have for people who want to make friends in their 20s given the stereotypes that we've faced? I think number one for me is everyone is busy in their life, but everyone will make an effort if they are on the same page with you. So be the organizer. There's no harm, even if only one person shows up, that's still one person who showed up. And you can count on them the next time and then just keep building off of that. So don't be afraid to be that connector, even if it's really uncomfortable for you.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I was gonna say the same thing. Don't be afraid to be the one that's engaging and making plans. One other thing I would say is, I know we don't like to do this as a generation, as Gen Z, but call people on the phone.
Oh my god, I love calling people.
You do. You love FaceTiming people.
I do.
I was even thinking just call people, like an old-fashioned phone call. You know, or FaceTime. You know, I know old-fashioned phone calls.
Yeah, we don't have signal in here,
like,
so
well,
AC is on.
Oh, yeah.
Sound's gonna be not great. It's okay.
But yeah, like give people a call. You know, you don't like we all, you know, or I guess like some of us have cars and we're driving around sometimes. You're driving to work, driving home from work,
Yeah.
and you're not doing anything but listening to music. Like call one of your friends.
Yeah.
Just catch up for 5-10 minutes. You know, it's that's a great way to just like get some social stimulus, even though it's not in person, and then you know, because I think that's more valuable than like texting, like actually hearing someone's voice.
Yeah. The third piece of advice, I'm gonna try to give more tangible advice instead of like personality things. Number 3, I would say go to a place regularly and you'll see the same people, and when you see the same people, you will likely become friends with them. That's why going to the office every Tuesdays and Thursdays for me, I see the exact same people, and so I get to know them even
You've been
more.
doing a good job of that recently, haven't you?
Okay, don't need to shade me. We don't need to call me out. Okay, I'm going tomorrow. But I used to go a lot, and I'm now friends with everyone because I know who's going to be there. Even if they're not on my team, I'll still be like, oh, hey, my name is Sarah. Like, nice to meet you. What team do you work on? That's actually a primary reason why a lot of people make friends in schools. Is not because they get along. It's because they see each other every single day.
Right.
And you'll likely need someone at some point. You know, you'll have a hard day one day, and they'll be like, what's wrong? You seem like a little off. And that's when your friendship is really starting. But just go to places regularly. It helps.
That's good advice. Are there any other places besides the office that you go to on a regular basis?
No. I've become very content with my friend group, which is really good and really bad. The good is that I have great friends. The bad is that I'm not getting more and more perspectives, which I always like crave. So I'm trying right now to be more open because it's summer and put myself out there. So the things I'm doing as well on top of that are I'm on Bumble BFF, but I'm really bad at responding. So I need to be better at that because it goes two ways. Number two, in terms of finding friends, I would say honestly bars, but not clubs. Clubs is a very, very different mindset.
Yeah.
But bars, like let's call it Utopian Tailgate, like I feel like I could make friends there, whether it's just for the day or actually long term, because you can talk to each other and get to know each other. And a little bit of liquid courage helps.
Oh, that always helps.
Yes.
It really does.
Not that we support drinking.
Drink responsibly.
Yes, drink responsibly.
One point I'll make from like the flip side perspective, like if someone reaches out to you and says, hey, do you want to like what?
I'm just thinking about the fact that I'm ignoring someone.
Oh, if yeah, we'll talk about that off camera. If somebody reaches out to you and says, hey, like I'm trying to get a group of people together for this weekend, like, are you in?
Yeah.
And this is one thing I'm trying to. We talked about this. One thing I'm trying to actively do in my life is to not like use I'm busy as an excuse to not do things. Like,
yeah,
we're all busy. We've all got stuff going on. We all have.
We can make time. Yeah.
But just make time for people. Focus on your social life. It's really, it's genuinely, and I know this is very Gen Z of me to say on this Gen Z podcast, but making time for your social life really is important because work will always be there.
Okay. Yes, very good point. I was going to say rapid round as we wrap up because I'm sure the AC noise is so annoying right now. Let's do, as everyone goes out there and puts themselves out there, make friends, what are some red flags to look out for when you're making new friends? Ready? You're ready for rapid round? We just have to keep going.
We're just going back and forth.
Yeah. Until one of us just can't.
Okay,
number one, someone who is extremely competitive and competitive against you, really bad.
People who always talk about themselves and like never ask questions about you. People
who trauma dump on you the moment you meet them.
People who you only get along with while drunk or at a bar or under the influence.
People who have a lack of diversity of friends in their life. It's usually a sign.
People who will not engage with you like over like text or call.
People who aren't willing to put in the effort. So for example, you always ask them to hang out and they never do. Are we there?
I think that just about covers it. I'm sure there's many others.
This week is her question. So you have to ask me a question. Oh wait, is it her question or his?
No, it's her.
Oh,
no,
it's his.
It's his because we asked Allie on.
Okay.
Shout out Allie. She will be back.
His question of the day, a controversial one. Is it okay to talk to a girl that one of your friends has talked to before but never hooked up with them? Romantically.
Okay, repeat the question. There's a lot going on.
So let's say TK, whatever his name is, TJ.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So if TJ used to talk to a girl for 3 months last year, but you started talking to her this year, is it okay to start dating her?
When you say talk to, were they
romantically?
And they were like in like a situationship.
They weren't hooking up.
They're just talking.
Yeah, they had a crush on each other. Camera battery died, but continue.
That's back-to-back episodes. Whoever's
okay, continue.
Whoever's in charge.
No, continue.
So, if one of my friends was talking to a girl for 3 months romantically, they liked each other, but they stopped talking to each other, is it okay that I now talk to that girl?
Yes.
I'm gonna say the answer is no.
Interesting.
I'm gonna say no. I think that as soon as like there's any hint of like a romantic relationship, that girl would be permanently off limits.
And that is his question of the week. Okay.